My name is Haley Kostishin, Customer Success Manager with Truffle. I'm joined here with Matt Phillips to talk about how Northern Chicken was able to find success while navigating the pandemic. So what were some key decisions you felt that you made for your business that you felt were good with reopening or pivoting? You mentioned you're already doing online ordering. Do you want to touch on that?
We've been playing around with the thought about doing it, but we've just been doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. And after about a week and a half of just doing that and phone takeout orders, we decided that we needed to investigate a better online platform.
And what were some key things from using Skip and Uber that you were like, ooh, this isn't really what we want, that made you want to switch?
Definitely the cost. Them taking so much of the profit model is not good in a restaurant that already doesn't make a ton of profit based on sort of how we organize and how we do things for our employees. We didn't like the lack of control on when food was leaving, that kind of stuff. Like we still do Skip and DoorDash and Uber. We don't Skip a year and a half ago. We definitely didn't like that food would sit for hours on end without a driver coming and we'd have to remake it, or that the wrong food would end up at the wrong house and stuff. So this gave us a little bit of more control over what was happening.
Now, is this a change that you wish you would have made sooner?
Yeah, I wish we would have gone to online ordering even before the pandemic started. It would have been great to have had that for last winter.
What was the biggest source of help during this time? Was there a person or a place or a website, that was provided a lot of help for you guys?
Talking to other restaurant owners about what they were doing, being really active on social media and looking at what restaurants in the States were doing and restaurants all over Canada were doing really helped out. We pivoted to bake at home mac and cheese and frozen wings and stuff like that before it really hit the fan where everybody else started to do that kind of food. I think we just sort of always have built the culture of this restaurant around thinking about ways to do things differently. That's what Northern Chicken was designed to do, was to be a different kind of restaurant. I think by having that, it sort of gets the staff engaged in that world of thinking about how there's other ways to make money and other ways to provide our services. And they were very quick to come with those ideas even before they were sort of necessary.
So what were some of those special or out of the ordinary ideas you guys had to keep your customers engaged?
Doing the takeout mac and cheeses and the frozen wings and that kind of stuff. Bake at home cornbreads, bake at home pies, that kind of stuff. So there were situations where people could still get our food and also learn a little bit about what the product was. A lot of the promotions that we did that turned into, not when we were planning to do them, but turned into great ideas, partnering with different charities, partnering with ATB to do the 50% off for healthcare workers. They gave us $5,000 and then we matched it. Ended up serving 968 healthcare workers over a 3-day period where we gave them 50% off. We were just delivering food to healthcare workers and teachers because we know so many of them. Realized how they were struggling at the beginning of the pandemic. It just seemed like one way for us to help. And then that's just turned into so much community support afterwards.
So you guys, you mentioned, aren't open for table service right now.
No.
Do you see with the warmer weather coming that you might resume soon, or you're happy with how things are going right now? And
we're happy with how things are going. Obviously having those 10 tables would be great sales wise and that kind of stuff. It'd be great to have people back in the restaurant, but the risk just isn't worth it for us. It's just not worth the stress and the risk to the staff to have 180 people in here a day. We can still serve them through the window. We can still serve them through takeout, and we'd rather stick in that safe environment. So once the numbers come down, once the vaccination numbers have gone up substantially, I think we may look at reopening, but I wouldn't assume that would be till the end of May.
So do you have any advice to other restaurants, who are going through this, and, some key things that you were like, oh, this really helped us, other people should know about it?
Our biggest takeaway from this whole thing has been really around community engagement. I think the big reason why we've done so well and that we've continued to be supported the way we have is because the groundwork that we laid beforehand and the fact that we've stayed engaged with the community through COVID. We didn't let the donations dry up. We didn't let our social media go away. We didn't let our community service go away. We still tried to keep all of those things going, if not more. We've actually donated more money to charities through COVID than we did previous, specifically just based on some of the charities that we work with and how they were affected by COVID sort of greater than lots of other charities. Like disproportionately queer and minority charities have been hit the hardest by this. Those are the ones that we support. So we've donated more, and keeping that community engagement alive has been a huge part of it, and making sure that people know who we are and know that we're local and know our story and get to know who the staff and the people are at Northern Chicken. They want to support that.
And what are some of those charities that you guys, are passionate about supporting?
We support In the Weeds, which is a mental health charity for restaurant workers. We're actually on the founding committee for that. So we've done a lot of support with them. Chew, which is LGBTQ2S charity for youth. We've done a lot of work with them. Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. We've done a tremendous amount of work with them. They have a bursary program for LGBTQ2S plus students to be able to go to post-secondary school. We've done a tremendous amount of work with that. The Edmonton Pride Center, Shades of Color, we've done a lot of work with Black Lives Matter Edmonton. So yeah, we've just tried to keep those charities alive in our minds and make sure that we're donating to them in the same way that we can.
Is there anything that you implemented over this period of COVID that you guys will continue to do?
Online ordering for sure. Some of the specials that we started to run as far as beer pairings and that kind of stuff. Once we were allowed to do alcohol for takeout, it's been really cool to be able to do some of the sandwich and beer pairings and get them to go out the door. We're actually in the process of working on an online beer dinner right now. Our stand has always been if you're sick, don't come to work. But I think in the restaurant industry that even though you have that as a policy and you push that people still feel the need to come in based on either financial restrictions or just like not wanting to let the team down. Mm-hmm. And COVID has totally changed that to where it's like you're letting the team down now if you do come in sick.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. And like you mentioned, when you guys had to shut down for a couple of weeks there, like I think people are more aware of how their actions directly affect those that they work with or are close with. So
we're really blessed with what's happened and how well it's gone for us. But I definitely acknowledge that there's lots of places that haven't had the success that we've had. Thankful for how the community has rallied around us and how our food is accessible for people on to go and how quickly we were able to move to those different platforms.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. We really appreciate it.